For the first time in centuries, researchers have uncovered what's believed to be Jesus' tomb inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Chris Mitchell takes us to the heart of Jerusalem's Old City, where a major renovation is underway.
Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the most hallowed Christian shrine on earth. According to tradition, this is the very location where Jesus died and was buried.
For the first time in history, science has officially confirmed the crucifixion of Jesus Christ as 100% real. But that's not all. New scientific proof has emerged, revealing that he was not only crucified but also resurrected 3 days later. This groundbreaking discovery is shaking the world, and we're about to dive deep into the evidence that proves God's power is real. Welcome to Jesus' Eternal Aura. In this video, we'll explore a stunning documentary by the History Channel that unveils shocking new insights into the Shroud of Turin. Could this be the ultimate proof of Jesus' resurrection? Stay tuned, because what you're about to see will leave you speechless.
The historian Eusebius said he did it to cover the tomb where Jesus was buried.
The Shroud of Turin has been one of the most debated and mysterious Christian relics for centuries. While it may seem like an ordinary piece of cloth at first glance, closer examination reveals a faint image of a crucified man, leading many to believe that it is the burial shroud of Jesus Christ himself. This remarkable artifact has fascinated scientists, theologians, and skeptics alike, and recent technological advancements have provided new insights into its authenticity. The Bible references Jesus being wrapped in linen cloth after his crucifixion. In all four Gospels, it is mentioned that after Jesus was taken down from the cross, his body was bound in linen and placed in a tomb. Many believe that the Shroud of Turin is the very cloth that was used to wrap Jesus' body, and over time, the image of his form was imprinted onto it. The question remains, is this truly the burial cloth of Jesus, or is it simply an elaborate medieval artifact? For years, researchers have sought to determine the age and authenticity of the shroud. Some studies have suggested that it only dates back about 700 years, placing its origin in the Middle Ages. However, this conclusion was based on earlier carbon dating methods that were conducted in 1988. At the time, scientists lacked the advanced technology available today, and many experts argued that the previous dating methods were flawed due to contamination of the sample used in testing. More recent studies have painted an entirely different picture. Scientists have now applied state-of-the-art techniques, including wide-angle X-ray scattering, wax, imaging, to analyze the linen fibers of the shroud. These new findings have revealed that the shroud is not merely 700 years old, but rather dates back 2,000 years, placing it exactly within the time period of Jesus' crucifixion. What makes the Shroud of Turin so significant is not just its age, but the mysterious way in which the image appears. Unlike paintings or other artistic representations, the image on the shroud is not created using pigments, dyes, or brushstrokes. Instead, it seems to be a result of an unexplained process that left a lasting imprint on the cloth. Some scientists believe this could have been caused by a sudden burst of radiation or energy at the moment of Jesus' resurrection, while others propose that it might be the result of natural chemical reactions between bodily fluids in the fabric. Another intriguing aspect of the shroud is the presence of blood stains. When viewed under scientific analysis, these stains show characteristics consistent with real human blood, containing high levels of bilirubin, creatinine, and ferritin, substances that are commonly found in the blood of people who have suffered extreme trauma. This provides further evidence that the image on the shroud is that of a man who endured a brutal death, aligning with the biblical accounts of Jesus' crucifixion. One of the most striking findings from recent research is that the blood on the shroud remains red rather than turning dark brown or black, as would typically occur over time. Scientists attribute this to the presence of bilirubin, which is released in high quantities when a person undergoes severe trauma. This is yet another piece of evidence that supports the theory that the man depicted in the shroud suffered a violent and agonizing death. Despite these findings, skeptics continue to question the authenticity of the shroud. Some argue that the image was created through medieval forgery techniques, while others believe it to be an elaborate religious icon. However, the fact remains that the Shroud of Turin is the most studied archaeological artifact in human history. It has undergone extensive analysis by scientists from a wide range of disciplines, including chemistry, physics, and forensics, and to this day, no one has been able to fully explain how the image was formed. Even the skeptics who originally set out to debunk the shroud have been forced to reconsider their positions. Some of the very researchers who once dismissed it as a hoax now acknowledge that the new scientific findings provide compelling evidence that the shroud is, in fact, from the time of Jesus. This shift in perspective has led to renewed interest in the shroud, bringing it back into the headlines as one of the most fascinating religious relics in existence. The significance of the Shroud of Turin extends beyond mere historical curiosity. For many believers, it serves as a powerful reminder of Jesus' suffering, death, and resurrection. The possibility that this cloth once touched the body of Christ makes it an object of deep reverence and devotion. Pilgrims from around the world travel to see it, and its presence continues to inspire faith and wonder. The latest discoveries regarding the shroud have sparked discussions about biblical prophecy and the signs leading up to the second coming of Christ. Many view these revelations as yet another confirmation that biblical truths are unfolding before our eyes. As science continues to advance, more discoveries may emerge that shed further light on this mysterious relic. For those who have never seen the Shroud of Turin in person, it remains on display in a church in Turin, Italy. While access to the relic is limited, there are opportunities for visitors to witness its profound mystery firsthand. Given its historical and religious significance, it is undoubtedly one of the most important artifacts ever discovered. In summary, the Shroud of Turin remains one of the greatest enigmas in history. With new scientific advancements confirming its age and authenticity, the debate surrounding its origins has reached new heights. While some will always remain skeptical, the overwhelming body of evidence suggests that this cloth is far more than just an ancient artifact. It could very well be a tangible link to the most pivotal event in Christian history. As more research is conducted, the world eagerly awaits further revelations about the shroud and what it may ultimately reveal about the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
On findings being published in a new book out today on the Shroud of Turin. That's the linen cloth believed to bear Jesus' imprint as he was being prepared.
Throughout history, people have debated the authenticity of the Bible and the truth of Jesus Christ. Many skeptics have dismissed it as a mere collection of stories, lacking concrete evidence to support its claims. However, recent groundbreaking research has emerged, providing scientific proof that challenges the doubts of non-believers. This new study, focusing on one of the most studied archaeological artifacts in the world, the Shroud of Turin offers compelling evidence supporting the reality of Jesus Christ. For centuries, people have questioned whether the Bible is real or simply a collection of theoretical, symbolic, or even fictional writings. Skeptics have often argued that faith in Jesus is unfounded, based on ancient texts rather than scientific proof. Many individuals, including former non-believers, have found their perspectives transformed by the overwhelming evidence now coming to light. The Shroud of Turin is widely believed to be the burial cloth of Jesus, bearing the mysterious imprint of a crucified man. This artifact has been the subject of intense scrutiny by historians, archaeologists, and scientists for decades. It is, without a doubt, the most studied relic in the world, and there is no close second. The shroud has undergone extensive examination, including research into its textile composition, bloodstains, and the forensic details of the image embedded within the fabric. The results of these studies align remarkably well with what would be expected from a burial cloth, dating back to the 1st century, coinciding with the time of Jesus Christ. Recently, a highly advanced artificial intelligence, AI, analysis was conducted to reconstruct an accurate depiction of Jesus based on the information derived from the Shroud of Turin. Unlike the AI programs commonly used to generate artistic images, this particular AI system was designed for scientific research. It utilized precise data, including historical and forensic evidence, to generate an image that reveals Jesus as a tall, masculine figure who lived in the 1st century. This cutting-edge technology offers an unprecedented glimpse into the physical appearance of Jesus, confirming details long debated by historians and religious scholars. One of the most striking aspects of the Shroud of Turin is the mysterious way the image appears on the fabric. Scientists from various disciplines, including experts from Sandia National Laboratories in New Mexico, where advanced research on nuclear weapons takes place, have studied the shroud extensively. The original team of scientists, who examined the relic in 1978, approached their research with extreme skepticism. They initially believed that proving the shroud to be a hoax would take no more than 20 minutes. In fact, They reportedly laughed and joked about the idea of having a free trip to Italy to debunk the artifact. However, after just one day of examination, their skepticism began to fade. The scientific team soon realized that the image on the shroud could not be explained by any known technology, past or present. What makes the Shroud of Turin so extraordinary is that the image itself is not painted or drawn, it is embedded into the very fibers of the linen in a way that defies scientific explanation. Experts in molecular imaging and optical physics have been unable to determine how the image was formed. When viewed from a distance, the image nearly disappears, yet when observed up close, it becomes astonishingly detailed. This phenomenon suggests a level of precision that even modern technology struggles to replicate. Creating such an image today would require highly sophisticated laser technology and an immense amount of energy, yet this artifact dates back over 2,000 years. The implications of this discovery have left many experts baffled and have further reinforced the idea that the shroud could be genuine. In addition to analyzing the Shroud of Turin itself, researchers have studied the methods of crucifixion used during Roman times. Crucifixion was a common form of execution in the ancient world, and remains of crucified individuals have been found from locations as widespread as Britain, Italy, and Jerusalem. However, what sets Jesus' crucifixion apart is the particularly brutal and heinous manner in which it was carried out. Historical records, forensic evidence, and biblical descriptions all indicate that Jesus endured an especially severe form of torture. For those who wish to understand the full extent of Christ's suffering, Mel Gibson's film The Passion of the Christ provides a powerful and heart-wrenching depiction of the final hours leading up to his crucifixion. The film showcases the excruciating torment inflicted upon Jesus, portraying an act of cruelty that exceeds even the most barbaric forms of execution. Many who watch the film are moved to tears, overwhelmed by the sheer horror of what Jesus endured. The research into the Shroud of Turin further validates these accounts, revealing details of Christ's wounds that align with the biblical narrative. Previously, researchers estimated that Jesus' body bore 372 wounds from scourging, beatings, and crucifixion. However, recent advancements in technology have allowed scientists to analyze the shroud with even greater precision, leading to a shocking revelation: Jesus suffered at least 700 wounds. The wounds from flagellation alone amount to around 120 severe lashes, inflicted by the brutal whips used by Roman soldiers. Every single one of these wounds has now been documented using cutting-edge technology. The level of detail preserved in the shroud is nothing short of miraculous, further reinforcing its authenticity. The significance of this discovery extends beyond just the physical evidence. For believers, the Shroud of Turin serves as a testament to Christ's love and sacrifice. The sheer brutality of his suffering highlights the depth of his devotion to humanity, as he willingly endured unimaginable pain for the sake of redemption. The evidence not only validates historical accounts of Jesus' crucifixion but also strengthens the faith of those who have struggled with doubt. In conclusion, the recent scientific breakthroughs regarding the Shroud of Turin are game-changing. The world's most advanced researchers, many of whom approach the study as skeptics, have been unable to disprove its authenticity. The AI-generated image of Jesus, based on forensic data from the shroud, aligns remarkably well with historical descriptions. The fact that no modern technology can replicate the image formation on the cloth only adds to the mystery surrounding it. Moreover, the extensive wounds identified on the shroud further confirm the extraordinary suffering Jesus endured, as depicted in the Bible and the Passion of the Christ. For those who have been skeptical or hesitant to explore the truth, this research presents undeniable evidence that the Bible is not just a book of stories, it is a record of real events. If you have ever questioned the reality of Jesus Christ, now is the time to examine this evidence for yourself. This discovery has the power to change lives, reinforcing faith in the truth of the gospel. For believers, it serves as a profound reminder of Christ's sacrifice and the boundless love he demonstrated through his suffering. As scientific advancements continue to uncover more about this remarkable artifact, the case for Jesus' life, death, and resurrection only grows stronger. In the Christian faith, one of the most profound and awe-inspiring moments in history is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. The Bible tells us that Jesus willingly accepted his fate, fully aware of the suffering that awaited him. Yet, even knowing the agony of the cross, he still chose to go through with it, out of love and obedience to God the Father. Before his arrest, Jesus prayed on the Mount of Olives, deeply troubled by what was about to take place. He cried out to his Father, expressing his human fear and anguish, saying, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." Luke 22:42. This moment illustrates both Jesus' humanity and his divine mission. He did not want to endure the pain, but he accepted it because it was necessary for the salvation of mankind. While many people acknowledge the historical reality of Jesus' crucifixion, there has been ongoing debate about physical evidence that supports the biblical account. One of the most mysterious and scientifically studied relics in Christianity is the Shroud of Turin, believed by many to be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. The shroud bears a faint, detailed image of a crucified man, and countless researchers have examined its origins and authenticity. However, one of the most intriguing discoveries regarding the shroud came with the use of a specialized piece of technology known as the VP image analyzer. In the days of film photography, images were processed in a completely different way than digital pictures today. When the VP8 image analyzer was used on the Shroud of Turin, researchers were astounded. Unlike normal photographs, which appear as flat 2D images when analyzed, the shroud's image contained three-dimensional qualities. The VP8 machine revealed depth and structure, as though a holographic image of Jesus was embedded in the fabric. The image showed the distinct contours of the nose, beard, and facial structure in a way that could not be replicated by any known artistic technique. This discovery set off a wave of interest and deeper investigation. Many had assumed that the shroud was just a flat image, but the revelation that it possessed three-dimensional properties made it even more compelling. The idea that an ancient cloth could contain this level of detail without any known artistic method capable of producing such an effect raises profound questions. Could this be a divine fingerprint, left behind as physical evidence of Jesus' resurrection? For those who have examined the shroud, seeing the image in 3D completely transforms the experience. Many have expressed a desire to view the actual shroud in person, tilting it from different angles to observe how the image emerges. It's as if the body of Christ is coming out of the fabric itself, reinforcing the belief that this relic could be an authentic artifact from Jesus' burial. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Shroud of Turin's investigation is the story of one of the lead researchers. Among the scientists who studied the shroud in the 1970s was a secular Jewish scientist, someone who, by his own admission, had no belief in Jesus Christ. Initially, he viewed the investigation as nothing more than a scientific opportunity, even considering it a free trip to Italy. He had no personal investment in Christianity and approached the research with skepticism. However, after meticulously analyzing the shroud and seeing the undeniable evidence, his entire perspective changed. The more he studied, the more he became convinced that the shroud was not an ordinary artifact, it was a supernatural sign. In the end, this Jewish scientist converted to Christianity, fully convinced that the shroud was indeed the burial cloth of Jesus. This transformation is a testament to how powerful the evidence was. He went from disbelief to absolute certainty that Jesus was real, had been crucified, and had miraculously left his image on the cloth. This scientist's story mirrors what many others have experienced when encountering undeniable scientific proof of biblical truth. Despite the overwhelming evidence, however, there are still many people who refuse to accept it. The Bible itself predicts that there will always be people who, despite being shown clear evidence, will still reject the truth. In 2 Thessalonians 2:10-12 it says, "They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion, so that they will believe the lie, and so that all will be condemned who have not believed the truth, but have delighted in wickedness." Even today, despite scientific discoveries, historical records, and fulfilled prophecies, many still choose to turn away. Whether out of stubbornness, fear, or unwillingness to change, they dismiss the signs that God has placed right in front of them. As Christians, we continue to share these findings, not to force anyone into belief, but to present the truth, so that those who are seeking will find it. Jesus himself said in John 14:6, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Those who genuinely seek the truth will eventually come to the realization that Jesus is who he said he was. For those who struggle with faith, I completely understand. I was not born into a Christian family. For much of my life, I had no knowledge of Jesus, the Bible, or Christianity. To me, religion was just a collection of different beliefs, with people trying to convince others to follow their faith. However, everything changed when I encountered God in a deeply spiritual way. I was not searching for him, yet he found me. From that moment, my life was completely transformed. I started researching more about Jesus, the Bible, and the overwhelming evidence that supports the Christian faith. The more I learned, the more I realized that this was not just a religion, it was the truth. This is why I share these things. Many people ask me why I no longer make gaming videos, why my content has shifted toward faith and biblical prophecy. The answer is simple. I feel called by God to use my platform to spread awareness about what is happening in the world today. We are witnessing the fulfillment of prophecy. Signs that were written thousands of years ago are unfolding before our very eyes. Israel, Jerusalem, global conflicts, natural disasters, these are all warnings spoken of in Scripture. We do not have faith in faith itself. We believe because of evidence. The Bible warns us about wars and rumors of wars, Matthew 24:6, natural disasters, and an increase in deception in the last days. Many dismiss these events as mere coincidences, but for those who have studied prophecy, it's clear that we are living in significant times. The discovery of the Shroud of Turin's three-dimensional image is yet another piece of evidence supporting the truth of Jesus Christ. And yet, just as in biblical times, some will see and believe, while others will ignore the signs. I don't share these things for personal gain or to grow my platform. Even if just one person watches this and their eyes are open to the truth, that is more valuable than any amount of success. My goal is simple, to help others seek and find the truth before it is too late. For those who doubt, I encourage you do your own research. Look at the evidence. Read the scriptures. Ask God to reveal himself to you. The truth is out there, waiting to be discovered. But ultimately, it is up to each person to decide whether to accept it or reject it. In John 11, Jesus resurrected Lazarus from the dead, yet the Pharisees still refused to believe in him. That's exactly my point. No matter what miracles Jesus performed, they dismissed them, attributing his power to sorcery or demonic forces. Even when witnessing undeniable proof, they still rejected him. Now, let's look at what's happening in the world today. Israel is at war, something that was prophesied in the Bible. At the same time, the Euphrates River located near the Jordan River is drying up completely, another prophecy foretold in Scripture. According to biblical prophecy, before the second coming of Christ, the Euphrates will be entirely dry, signaling the beginning of the events described in Revelation. And this is happening right now. Then there's Project Blue Beam, a deception orchestrated by world leaders. The prophecy warns that before Christ's return, a massive hoax will be staged, including a fake alien invasion. Have you noticed the increasing number of UFO sightings and unidentified drones flying around? Wars and rumors of wars are also multiplying, just as the Bible predicted. Jerusalem itself will be surrounded by armies, facing destruction and fire exactly as prophesied. Another prophecy speaks of water emerging from desert lands, and we're seeing that happen today. Recently, unexpected water sources have appeared in barren deserts, and shockingly, the Sahara Desert, one of the hottest places on Earth, was covered in snow. On January 18th, temperatures in northwest Algeria dropped to 2°C. Has this ever happened before? No. But now, it's unfolding right before our eyes. And then there's the Euphrates River. Take a look at the footage comparing 2020 to 2021, it's shocking. In 2020, the river was full. By 2021, it had shrunk dramatically. Now, in 2025, it continues to dry up day by day. According to the Bible, once it is completely dry, the events of Revelation will fully begin, and the Antichrist will rise to power. The sixth angel will pour out his vial upon the Euphrates, preparing the way for the kings of the east. We aren't yet at the point where the angels pour out their vials, but we are rapidly moving in that direction. As the river disappears, we are nearing the fulfillment of another major prophecy, the release of the 4 angels bound at the Euphrates, as described in Revelation 9:13-15. This will unleash chaos upon the earth. And yet, Despite all these undeniable signs, many people still refuse to believe. That's why I'm making this video, to wake people up to what's really happening. Now, let's talk about the Shroud of Turin. It is currently kept in the Royal Chapel of the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Italy. The shroud is a mysterious linen cloth that many believe bears the image of Jesus Christ. For centuries, skeptics have tried to disprove its authenticity. However, a recent study using advanced X-ray technology has dated the fabric to approximately 2,000 years ago, the exact time of Jesus. Scientists have been baffled by how the image was imprinted on the cloth. The faint but detailed image of a bearded man, showing both the front and back of his body, defies all known explanations. It wasn't created by paint, blood, or any earthly process. Some researchers believe the imprint was caused by an intense burst of energy, something so powerful that it could not have been man-made. In 2011, scientists experimented with high-powered ultraviolet lasers, attempting to replicate the depth and coloration of the shroud's image. They discovered that it would take 15,000 simultaneous laser pulses focused on a single spot to achieve a similar effect. But here's the thing, lasers weren't invented until 1946. The shroud, however, dates back 2,000 years. How could something like this exist? The only explanation is that an immense burst of energy radiated from Jesus' body. Some believe this occurred at the moment of his resurrection, when his soul re-entered his body. This flash of divine energy could have imprinted his image onto the cloth. The researchers who set out to disprove the shroud were left stunned by their own findings. These were not religious scholars, but experts in weaponized technology, and even they admitted that what they found defied all known science. To replicate the shroud's image in a split second, scientists estimated that 18,000 lasers would need to fire at once. But in ancient times, this technology didn't exist. So what could have caused it? The Bible may hold the answer. In the Gospel accounts of the Transfiguration, Jesus was praying with his disciples when his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. Could this same divine light have been released at his resurrection? The evidence points to something beyond human understanding. All these signs, the war in Israel, the drying of the Euphrates, the deception of Project Blue Beam, the strange climate changes, and even the mysteries of the shroud are happening right now. We are living in prophetic times. The question is, are we paying attention?
To truly grasp the magnitude of this discovery, we need to journey back over 2,000 years to ancient Jerusalem. Back then, the streets were teeming with pilgrims and merchants, and the city was a vibrant melting pot of cultures and religions under the rule of the Roman Empire. It was an era of hope and rebellion, of faith and conflict. In the midst of this complex and dynamic environment emerged the figure of Jesus of Nazareth, a man whose life and teachings would leave an indelible mark on human history. According to biblical accounts, Jesus was arrested, judged, and crucified under the authority of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea. Before we dive into this exciting discovery and its profound implications, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to all of you who support us in bringing these thrilling stories and biblical narratives to life. Let's begin with the crucifixion, a brutal method of execution reserved for the worst criminals. It was intended not only to cause a slow and painful death, but also to serve as a public warning. Yet the story of Jesus does not end on the cross. His followers, devastated upon his death, claimed his body and placed it in a new tomb carved into the rock, belonging to Joseph of Arimathea, a respected member of the Sanhedrin. However, what happened after his burial is what has captured the imagination of millions for centuries. 3 days later, it is claimed that Jesus rose from the dead, an event commemorated each year during Easter and foundational to the Christian faith. Recently, a team of archaeologists began to remove the heavy stone slab that had remained immovable for centuries, revealing secrets hidden in this ancient tomb. With precision and care, they prepared for a historic moment. Using specialized tools, they began to remove the heavy stone slab, each movement calculated, each sound amplified in the expectant silence of the place. The air was filled with tension and reverence as they knew they were on the verge of uncovering a secret that had been hidden for more than 2 millennia. Hearts beat with strength, hands trembled slightly with emotion and responsibility. It was a moment filled with history, faith, and deep curiosity. Finally, after what seemed like hours but were only minutes, the slab slid, and the entrance to the tomb was exposed. The archaeologists looked at each other, aware of the magnitude of what they were about to discover. With flashlights in hand, they took the first steps towards the interior, each one holding their breath, aware that the whole world was waiting with them for the discovery. When they finally entered the tomb, the archaeologists were speechless at what they found. The scene that unfolded before their eyes was something that no one had anticipated. The air inside the tomb was thick with the weight of the centuries. What was discovered was a collection of relics and artifacts, incredibly well preserved. In the center of the tomb, on a smooth stone, rested a set of objects that seemed taken directly from biblical stories. There were tools and utensils possibly used in rituals of the tomb, but the most impressive were the inscriptions in Aramaic, meticulously engraved on the walls, telling a story forgotten by time. The archaeologists found a small wooden box sealed and decorated with ancient symbols. When they opened it with extreme care, they revealed a set of immaculately preserved scrolls. Although initially illegible due to their age, they were surprisingly well preserved and contained texts that could rewrite entire chapters of religious history. There were also ceramic fragments with inscriptions that mentioned names and events consistent with the gospel accounts. These findings not only provide a clearer view of the funerary practices of the time, but could also contain tangible evidence of events that have been the subject of faith and debate for millennia. Each object in the tomb is being carefully studied. Experts are using the latest technology to decipher the texts and analyze the materials. This discovery not only sheds light on the past, but also raises new questions about history and religion. Preliminary results already suggest that we are facing one of the most significant finds of all time. Among the astonishing details were immaculately preserved relics, ancient inscriptions telling forgotten stories, and other artifacts that seemed out of place for the time. Each object, each detail, added a new layer of mystery and wonder. One of the most impressive finds was a set of Roman coins, perfectly aligned in a corner of the tomb. The inscriptions on the coins, although barely legible due to the passage of time, seemed to coincide with the period of Jesus' crucifixion, suggesting that they could have been left there by the first followers in an act of veneration. Pieces of fabric were also found that, despite their age, still retained vestiges of their original colors. These fragments, carefully wrapped and preserved, could have been part of the shroud that covered the body of Jesus. The texture and weave of these cloths are being carefully analyzed to determine their origin and confirm their authenticity. One of the most enigmatic artifacts was a ceramic cup with inscriptions in Hebrew. This cup, similar to those used in Jewish Passover rituals, could have been used in the Last Supper of Jesus with his disciples. Although the inscriptions are fragmented, they are being studied to decipher their full meaning. Finally, the discovery of a piece of wood, possibly part of the cross on which Jesus was crucified, left everyone breathless. This piece, although small, is being analyzed with carbon dating techniques to confirm its antiquity and authenticity. If this fragment is confirmed, it could be one of the most powerful testimonies of the crucifixion. Each of these findings not only provides a clearer vision of the historical and cultural context of the time of Jesus, but also raises new questions about the intersection of history and religion. The preservation and analysis of these objects can offer us a window into one of the most significant eras of humanity. The implications of this discovery are immense, not only for historians, but also for millions of believers around the world. This finding could mean much more than we imagine. If these findings confirm biblical accounts that have been debated for centuries or reveal an even greater truth, They have the potential to change our understanding of history and faith. As experts continue to study these remarkable artifacts, we eagerly await further insights into their significance. This discovery not only illuminates the past, but also deepens the mystery surrounding one of the most pivotal moments in human history. Stay tuned as we continue to explore and reveal more about this incredible find.